George Orwell once said, "Freedom is the right to tell people what they do not want to hear." So if you are prepared for me to tell you what you may not want to hear, then remember to like the video, subscribe and click all notifications so you don't miss any of my weekly uploads. That being said, let's get into the video. Hello my friends, welcome back to another episode of Warriors Amongst Men, Spirit Amongst Flesh, the kingdom of heaven over the kingdom of materialism, thriving over surviving. As always, my name is Sam and I'm here to help you liberate from your flesh, your addictions, that which is holding you down, define your purpose so that you can live the life that you came here to live. And today's video, my friends, I want to share with you 5 uncomfortable signs that you are highly awake. And I understand that being highly awake in a highly toxic society is not easy. But these signs will help you feel more at ease if you are willing to hear what you do not want to be told. Because sometimes the truth isn't always pretty, right? So the first sign is that you have accepted and surrendered. And you can apply this to any area of your life, because life is not easy. Whether it is looking at life as it is and seeing yourself as you are, right? Sometimes what we need to do along the spiritual path is look at ourselves without rose-tinted glasses. We need to see our strengths and we need to see our flaws, and then we need to accept where we are and the challenge to take ourselves where we want to be. Not just where we want to be, but where we need to be, where we must be. You are royalty, spiritual royalty, and you deserve to change your life around and live the life that you came here to live. So if you have accepted that challenge, then you are highly awake. But what was I talking about when I said surrendered? So why would you have a spiritual awakening in the first place? Right, many of us, obviously, especially us Westerners, we haven't been meditating in a cave for 30 years to realize enlightenment. You'd only really do that if you were already in a society, everything's, in order, there's not really much chaos, and you've just gone out into the woods and you thought, you know what, I'm just gonna sit and meditate and I wanna know. You're on this quest, you're seeking, you want the answers. But in Western society, there are only 2 ways, right? Either you're going to go out into the woods and start meditating and quit society, right? Or you're going to go through suffering, and through suffering you learn, because you're getting whipped into shape. If there is no pain, there is no gain, right? And actually, even training in the gym, that it makes you surrender. You have to surrender to the pain. You have to push through the pain to get to the next level. And it's the same when it comes to our addictions, right? It's the same when it comes to spirituality, right? The universe is going to whip you around the face. It's going to make you humble. And you have to go through this darkness, this shadow. You have to face your shadow. You have to be willing to see yourself clearly as you are, right? And surrender. Just think, all right, I'm not perfect. I'm not, the amazing guru that I see myself as in the future, maybe, right? And deep down on a spiritual level, you might be Jesus Christ. You might be so pure and so light and so loving, but on the external, we've still got toxic habits that aren't serving us, right? And this was me for a long time. I was smoking weed a lot and I was watching porn. I was lying a lot. I wasn't that person that I knew I was in the inside. I knew I had a good heart and I knew that I wanted to help others. I'd gone through a spiritual awakening, but I was still justifying my own toxic behavior to myself, right? I just thought that, at least I'm not harming anyone else. But really I knew that my highest potential, right, wasn't who I was being right now. So I had to accept that, yeah, I've got these addictions and I can admit, yeah, I need to go to the next level. It's not about being perfect. No one expects you to change your entire life, all your habits overnight. But a highly awake person is open, right? Right now, many people will have clicked off because they're like, oh, I'm getting triggered. The ego gets triggered and you're like, oh, why do I have to quit alcohol and sleeping around and lying, and why do I have to be truthful? Right, you want to go to the next level, then it has to be, your thoughts have to be in the right place, you have to be thinking with integrity, right? You have to care emotionally about your freedom, right? That's spiritual awakening, and the freedom of others. You cannot have freedom yourself if you're still causing slavery to others, and we'll come to that later, right? But you also have to be willing to make real world change, right? By making real world, taking real world action creates real world change. So you have to be willing to accept and surrender, right? And realize that if you do that, the universe is going to bring to you people, places and things, or maybe even God will come to you, but someone will be there to be the messenger, right? I'm just the messenger. But when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. And I saw this along my early journey because I was in such a dark place and I was causing a lot of chaos and suffering in my life. It made me humble and I surrendered, and then the universe revealed its secrets, right? And I met a kung fu martial artist and he was super spiritual. And I could tell just by his energy. So I had to surrender and just listen. And sometimes you can feel when someone walks in the room and they're highly awake and you've just got to just sit, right? When you feel someone on that high vibration, my mouth is zip. I'm all ears and I'm listening and I'm taking it in, right? And number 2 is you are willing to admit when you are wrong. Now, this is about having self-respect, and it's the missing words. Many people cannot say I was wrong, right? And that's the ego. So you're highly awake if you can say when you're wrong. This is what we're talking about, is self-respect. See, the word self-respect, if we look at its etymological roots, then the word re means back or again, and the word spect or comes from spectere or spectre, which means look at again, right? So respect is to look at again. If you have self-respect, it means you're willing to look at yourself again or look at the situation again, right? Rather than just thinking that the way you perceive it is correct, you're willing to, oh, I'm just going to take another look at that, right? And that's what it means to be highly awake. You've got self-analysis, you're willing to find the truth, not just think that, oh, because everyone else is doing it, it must be right. And I saw a good meme the other day. There was a young boy and his dad sitting on a bench, and the young boy said to his dad, "Dad, is Santa fake?" And he said, "Son, if Santa was fake, then think how many people would have to be in on it." And doesn't that relate to current events very well, right? But again, you're highly awake if you discern reality for yourself. You're willing to admit when you're wrong, just because maybe you believe something just because everyone else believes it, right? And you can apply that to your addictions, you can apply that to where you are heading in life with regards to your purpose, your career, or where your attention is. Many people so focused on their job, they think that that's success, whereas now they're not paying attention to what really matters in life, right? Which is something that's in your heart, right? The ego has been taken over. So you're spending all your time on materialism and not on what really matters in life. And it's not until you have a wake-up call that you're like, then you re-look at again what matters to you, right? That means you're highly awake. And number 3, enlightenment is about knowing that enlightenment is not about pursuing bliss in a world filled with suffering. There's many gurus out there that, they want to sit there and they want to be all blissful all the time. And this is a way to basically manipulate, especially Westerners or people that have just got into spirituality. You come across someone that's so peaceful, they think, you think they've got it all figured out because they're so blissful. And actually, it's not about being blissful all the time, right? You are a human, you're here to experience all different kinds of emotions, and actually it's quite sadistic, satanic even, to be blissful walking through a slaughterhouse, isn't it? Right, it might be blissful to you because you're in your ashram somewhere and you've got a load of servants doing everything for you. Right, just because your life is good, it doesn't mean that you should be blissful all the time. And we'll come to that later, but in actuality, I've just made an audiobook on my Patreon if you're interested, on the law of freedom. And basically, the basics are, how can you manifest freedom in your life if you are causing slavery to other beings? There's one law that is so important to understand in spirituality, and it's the law of cause and effect. Everything that has an effect on this planet, there was once a cause for that effect to occur, wasn't there? So if you're causing chaos, right, you're causing suffering to other sentient beings, right? If I rape someone, then there's chaos. I've just caused chaos in their life, right? Or if I'm imposing my will on others, or if I'm causing murder, right? This is why I promote veganism, right? And veganism is about, it's about not exploiting other sentient beings as much as is practicable and possible, right, in every area of your life. So if you're not doing that, if you're not a vegan, then you're saying that no, it's okay to exploit others. So it's okay to cause chaos, is it? And that's why humanity is in a state of chaos, right? Humanity is in a state of chaos. Humanity is in a state of slavery, meaning you are being told what to do by someone outside of yourself. That's why we even have a government, because it is a reflection of humanity's enslavement, right? Spirituality is about having internal mastery. You make decisions for yourself, right? And if you can now cause freedom, right, what do you think the effect's going to be? If you're freeing other beings with your actions, your choices, you're responsible with your choices, well, you're going to get that as a reflection, cause and effect. You want to be in divine order, or do you want to be in chaos? Keep going the way you're going. If you've got chaos, keep doing that if you want chaos. But if you want freedom, you've got to make real world choices, change your choices, then you change the actions, you change the effect, right? And number 4 is one of my favorite ones. If you are highly awake, then you will have haters, because when you speak the truth, it triggers the ego, and then people think, oh, that guy's not very nice, and you want to, naturally you're a different vibration to the person. Because think about it, if someone is successful, right, then you are shining a light, a spotlight on that other person's life where they're not successful, right? You're shining a spotlight on missed opportunities in their life, and they're gonna hate you for it. But they shouldn't, because this should inspire you. This should inspire you. When I see someone that has got their shit together and they're successful, spiritually successful, and they're manifesting freedom, right? I want to know how you done that. I'm inspired by that, and I want you to help me go to the next level, right? If that's you, then you are highly awake. But if you're highly awake, then it doesn't matter. You don't need to be successful yet, but you need to be willing to learn, right? Then you're just the same, because success isn't about where you get to. It's not a destination. It's about the distance you travel in life. So it's not about where you start or where you finish, right? Maybe you were brought up in a really successful household, right? And then you go along and you're still successful. That's cool. But real success is the distance you travel, right? You're willing to raise the bar, right? You're willing to get out of your own comfort zone and go to the next level. So if you are a light, naturally you will attract moths. If you're a light in a world of toxicity, right, it's no measure of health to be considered normal by a profoundly sick society. So if you are shining, then naturally you're triggering people's egos everywhere you go. And like I said, freedom is the right to tell people what they do not want to hear. And number 5, the fifth sign, the fifth uncomfortable sign that you are highly awake, is that you are helping others, right? Enlightenment is knowing that we have a responsibility to help other people improve themselves. And I've been doing this for a long time, because I realized that people's ignorance is causing suffering and is causing human enslavement, because everyone is connected, right? And although you may be on the right path and attracting blessings, right, even if they come disguised as your worst nightmare, right? Even when we went into lockdown, it was like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to work right now. But actually it was a blessing in disguise, because now I can work on my purpose, right? It's freed up some time, right? So maybe you see the blessings that are disguised in the darkness, right? That's cool. But enlightenment is about helping other people to improve themselves. And let's just look at this. The ego is selfish. It's all about me, and it wants to better themselves. It wants to get ahead so it can be, admired at the top of the pyramid, right? And oh, look how successful I am. Yeah, I'm sorry you're not successful. So it keeps information to itself. I always say, share in the language of enriching. If you want to go to the next level, if you want to speak to me one-to-one, make sure that you are just share with me in the language of enriching. Don't hold anything back. That's only the ego, right? As soon as I started sharing in the language of enriching, whether it was just my thoughts, right, or anything, right, I started to receive in the language of enriching, because the world we live in is a reflection from within, right, like I've spoken about many times. But the ego wants to just improve itself, and that's because we have literally been brainwashed as a society to think that we are the same as the animals, right? Whereas actually we are highly intelligent beings. And it's actually one of the principles of Satanism is to make everyone else believe that they are no different from the beasts in the field. And many people get their morals from the lions. They're like, well, why can't I eat meat? Lions eat meat. It's like, yes, that's because they're carnivores. They don't have a choice, right? And you're not a lion, right? You are morally culpable, right? You are a highly intelligent being. You have moral agency. You have a conscience. Look at the word conscience. It even has the word science in it, right? That means that you have a responsibility, a moral responsibility to make the right choices in life, right? But morality has left society as a whole, and that's why humanity is falling further into enslavement, right? But you will manifest more freedom if you up your morality, right? If you actually think about it for yourself, right? And once you do, right, you free yourself from your own addictions, you free yourself from all these petty things. You think money's gonna save you, so you're on this quest to chasing money because it's been glamorized in so many ways by the mainstream media, right? You've got to see that humanity is in a state of hypnosis by the television. It's telling lies to your vision, right? It's suppressing knowledge. So if you've realized that society is toxic and you're willing to actually grow, learn, and once you actually change on the inside and you become highly awake, now you want to help other people do that too. And actually, if you actually want to help other people, then you've got to help yourself, because people, they don't do what you tell them to do, right? They do what you're doing, right? It's even proven in psychology, because the subconscious mind governs over 95% of your day, right? So all your habits on repeat, it's your autopilot, and it also works off imagery. So people always say, don't do as I do, do as I say. But they're wrong, because even the psychology is telling you that people are watching your actions. So it's all about changing your behavior. When you change your behavior, you then will inspire people. And even if they're not inspired, naturally, they will start to reflect what you're doing. The power has been with you all along, my friend. May the force be with you. So my friends, those are the 5 uncomfortable signs that you are highly awake. Let me know if you resonate with them in the comment section below, and please let me know if you can think of any more, right? I'm all ears. And if you would like help with anything that you've heard here today, like overcoming your addictions, then get in touch with me. We'll speak one-to-one. And I also have a lot of content that will help you if you want to create a purpose-based business. I've got a 3-part series on my Patreon on purpose-based business planning. I've also got a 3-part series on I call it the purpose-based accelerator program, and I've just uploaded a audiobook called Purpose-Based Spellcasting. Right, I'm a purpose-based life coach, so if you're interested in any of my services, I also offer subconscious programming or reprogramming, then get in touch with me. All the details are in the description box below to all my services. And as always, my friends, I really appreciate all your love and support and for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here, and until next time, peace and love, my friends.